11:19 at the Geek House, barely enough time to use the emotes, and so many outstanding things to talk about that I could just chat stream them all and have send out this, what's today again? The 10th of February with an absolute proper send-off. What is up, everybody? This is Jay, aka Multimedia Jay, and oh my goodness, I didn't think I'd be chat streaming all week. Then again, I thought I'd have the TV by now, but good old Amazon. We gotta say a few words about Amazon. We have to say a few words about a lot of things. I hope that I can remember to actually say a few words about pretty much everything I want to say a few words about. Let's see. Let's just see if we can, and let's also see if we can get this background music at the right level, because it hasn't been at the right level the last couple of times I've reviewed everything. We'll try 5% today, unless of course it's my volume normalizer that's defeating the purpose of everything. Oh man, oh man, oh man. So where do we even begin? How about we begin with the most toxic? Ajit Pai blocking me on Twitter. That was hilarious. For those of you that don't know, he's the former chair of the FCC. He was Trump's FCC chair. And he was one of the big head honchos that oversaw the destruction of net neutrality in the United States legislature. So it's net neutrality stopped being a thing on his watch. Needless to say, folks like myself who are big on technology and stuff like that and know that a free and open internet was how a lot of big tech services that people are complaining about today were able to actually grow into something, you know, that sort of thing. We have something to say about it. Now, you look back at some of my tweets from like 2017 or so, you'll find me constantly referring to this guy as Ajit Head. Kind of a play on words with his name and a rather stealthy way of calling him a shithead for what he was doing. We're going to probably get demonetized no matter what, so who cares? But that was the joke. That was the joke, and the problem is he didn't have a separate government account for his tweets on Twitter. It looks like he was originally at Ajit Pai FCC, and now he just dropped FCC and basically converted his account to a private account. So here's the thing, though. I'm not the only one. A couple of Twitter searches very quickly bring up that this guy, after he got out of office, he went on a blocking spree, getting petty with people that have said bad things about him on Twitter. Definitely not a politician. I just can't believe he's this thin-skinned. I mean, you are a high-profile public figure who took an unpopular stance on a major technology issue. Of course you're going to go out of office with plenty of critics. But if you never talk about the subject ever again, it doesn't matter. The reason why I even knew that he blocked me is because he's going viral because of some heartwarming, wholesome story about some girl who wanted to go to a father-daughter dance or something like that. It's a really nice, cute thing that has nothing to do with technology. Now, if this is the kind of stuff he's going to post about for the remainder of his life as a private citizen, then who cares? But no, it has to be all petty like that. And I mean, it doesn't take very many Twitter searches to find this stuff out. See, that's the sad part about Twitter. Twitter is so searchable, and as if Twitter wasn't searchable enough as it is, then we can also start talking about algorithms. There are some accounts that are supposed to be secret second accounts of streamers that I found out about because of Twitter's algorithms. So even the algorithm progress that Twitter has been able to make has resulted in basically people try to do like secondary accounts on Twitter. It just doesn't work anymore. Game over. You know, as if it wasn't already a bad enough thing if you had a so-called personal account and you thought that it would never affect like a professional account or something on Twitter. Twitter just goes and makes the problem even worse. That's Twitter in a nutshell. Pretty much everything that they do, they're terrible at. But people use this mediocre platform and it's become another Facebook. Much in the same way that Facebook was a platform they would use because some of your older, your parents used it, or you want to keep in touch with some other people who use it. Twitter is kind of the same way. There's really not much of a reason to be on Twitter. What are they good at? Anything? I mean, I know Twitter pretty much invented microblogging, but other platforms have forms of microblogging as well nowadays, including YouTube. When you unlock your community tab, and I think the requirements for that were dropped down, so you'd need less subscribers to do that, you essentially have an internal YouTube answer to Twitter for posting updates about your channel. What do you need a Twitter for? That's the question that I think that every content creator should ask themselves, and I'm sure They need to be honest with themselves if they all have the same answer. Do you have a Twitter account just because other people have Twitter accounts? Is there something that's actually good about Twitter, or are you just going along with the crowd because it's popular and there's a search engine and you might get some traffic from it? I say might. Let me actually check and see out of the last 300. Let me open up my my analytics in YouTube here and just check that real quick. I mean, you may think like that common thing, oh, if I do stuff on Twitter, it's going to get me more views on my YouTube videos and streams or my Twitch streams or whatever. Let me take a look at this. Analytics. Analytics. See, is it going to be the audience tab or is it going to be the engagement tab? Let's see. I'm just looking at it on my own here. Subscribers, turning on all notifications. Let's see. Where can I get some traffic sort? First of all, last 365 days. We set that up. Oh, the reach tab. That's right. Last 365 days. Traffic sources external. All right. No, let's back it up. Go back into, I want the simple one. Okay, click and hold. Click and hold to go back to reopen the tab. YouTube has this big problem where if you go into advanced mode, it assumes you never want to go back to, not that. If you go into advanced mode, it assumes you never want to go back to regular mode. Not a smart idea. Let's see here. Live. No, analytics. Let me go into analytics and let's scroll it down. I'm not going to show it on screen. It should be a really basic thing that I'm already done with, but YouTube is just making it more complicated. Set to 365 days. I think if I hit see more, it goes into advanced mode. So let me just hit that. Yes. I suppose I could look at the list. See if I can find it on here. All right. So this channel over the last 365 days got about 10,500 views, of which out of the external, no, 10,500 views from external sources. Well, let me just compare them all. Let me compare it all then. Internal, I can actually look that up too. Let me open that up in Creator Studio for you for this here. Impressions, Okay, so over the last 365 days, 80,000 views and 10.5 grand of that came from external stuff. 5,600-ish views, 54%, came from Google searches. Then there's, what the heck is DuckDuckGo? There's Bing. Then there's searches from in and out of YouTube as well. It might be the YouTube app or something. What's this? Question mark? Not all details of the referral embedding are known. Such traffic may be shown under YouTube because the video is played within the YouTube player regardless of the external location. So embeds, basically. In the last 365 days, Twitter, grand total, has only been responsible for 98 views on my videos. That's it. 98 views out of tens of thousands of views between all my videos are the result of Twitter in the last 365 days. So, what is Twitter good at? They're not good at directing traffic. They're not good at video. Their internal video is often lower quality than YouTube. Plus, it doesn't have Content ID. So it's not uncommon for people to get... Twitch streamers who get Content ID'd on YouTube have often put the same clips on Twitter and gotten DMCA'd for it, because even Twitch is further along in terms of DMCA because of background music and stuff than Twitter is. So Twitter's not good at video. Twitter's not good at discoverability, even though they have algorithms now, unless you're like some hot takes person or whatnot. But then again, what kind of audience are you going to attract if you're attracting all the Twitter mobs to your profile? I mean, the last 365 days would actually include when people went nuts about, and some of those views, by the way, might be from people going nuts about my views on the YouTube dislikes thing, which I actually have graphs of a hate mob coming over from Twitter and mass disliking one of my videos that I had at the time. So that might actually be biased upward. So what's Twitter good at? Well, why be on Twitter? I'm actually curious if some larger content creators have ever taken the time to look at this for themselves. Check your activity on your main platform and then check it on Twitter. YouTube, I know, has this. I don't know. I don't think Twitch has this, but for somebody who's big on YouTube, check your activity on your main YouTube and then check it on Twitter. See how much Twitter is contributing to your views. See if it's any impressive number at all. So, not good at discoverability, not good at video. What about, I don't know, text? The very thing that microblogging on Twitter was built on? It has a character limit. You often, I mean, you can express yourself more on Twitter nowadays than you used to be able to when it first launched, but Twitter, can you express yourself through text on Twitter? Twitter is good at pictures. You can put a widescreen picture on Twitter, and it can, someone with a 1080p monitor or bigger can blow it up to full size and see it in all of its glory. But there's no albums feature, so if you do a lot with pictures on Twitter, it floods your feed with stuff. And so you have to reconsider where you put your pictures. So what exactly is Twitter good at? There are gotchas and problems with just about everything I can think of that Twitter could be useful for. No, I think it's a popularity thing. I think people just have Twitters simply because other people have Twitters. And if I know there's a delete Facebook movement, but what if there was a delete Twitter movement? Might be interesting. What might also be interesting is what's going on over in the EU right now with the standoff with Facebook over data privacy regulation. There's Facebook, or Meta, I should say, threatened to shut down Facebook and Instagram in Europe. EU regulators like, you do that. Called their bluff. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't see Facebook ever following through on a threat like that. Or, excuse me, Meta. I don't see Meta ever following through on a threat like that. It just wouldn't work. Yeah, so, all right, what are we talking about here? So, yeah, Ajit Pai. Him blocking me on Twitter, whoop-de-doo. He was one of the architects of the downfall of net neutrality in America, and the net results of... Hold on a second. Still got my socks on from doing chores earlier. It's getting a little too warm in here because I'm actually running the heat. Yar! Take care of that later. So here's the situation. We're not going to be answering the door because the TV's not going to be here tonight. That's why I'm just here to do a chat stream and just say a few things. And if my chat remains this dead, this will be a short one as well. So... who is this person hanging out? And what kind of screwball face do I have to make to scare you away? No. Nah. It's a late night nerd lounge here. We should be a bit more funny than that. It's not exactly late night television, but hey, nerds, I don't know. So, the net effects of the destruction of net neutrality, though, I mean, you don't have to look very far to see that. I've seen more and more of exactly what people were concerned about. The reason why people wanted a tighter regulations on broadband, net neutrality was one of the issues, but basically if you know anything about markets and capitalism and stuff, that's when you know that the broadband industry and its cable monopolies in America are just a mess. We don't have a healthy market with that. Not when you have service providers that basically all they really do is raise prices. And sometimes they resemble bad landlords. Great example of that. So I found out the hard way after being on, some introductory packages with broadband, paying a nice affordable broadband fee that wasn't close to my real utilities. It's funny. Well, anyways, we'll get to that anyways. We'll get to that later. So I learned, after a bunch of this other stuff, after these introductory offers, I wound up with, having to pick an internet speed that might be too slow for certain formats and stuff that I do. So that's what I'm doing here. Testing it out with like YouTube and the 9 grand limit and stuff along those lines. But if I ever want to do higher quality stuff above 1080p, I have to move up. The problem is the next step up from here is like $100 internet. I have a very big problem with triple-digit internet bills because my electricity is like 80 to 110. When we get to the point where internet, a service you probably use less than electricity, is more expensive than electricity, and yet the industry fanatically opposes being regulated like it's electricity, aka a baseline building block service of modern life. It doesn't add up. So internet gets more expensive than electricity, but oh no, we better not regulate it like it's electricity, even though it's basically the electricity of the 21st century. No. I've been keeping spreadsheets on the problems that net neutrality fights against for a very long time, and I've observed this pattern for a very long time, that ISPs have this fanatical obsession with doing everything they can to never give you what you actually need. They try to get you to want something that is way too expensive, and then if anything gets affordable, they eliminate it. They find any excuse they can to eliminate it, even if they call it tech upgrades. It's ridiculous. So, here's a great example. Dial-up stuck around here in America well into the 2000s, heading towards the 2010s. People may wonder, how come dial-up internet why was dial-up internet such a thing? Here's the thing. Dial-up through AOL, the plan my dad used to like, was $10 a month. There's fancier AOL for $20 a month. $10 a month for dial-up used to be a bargain. My dad stuck with the $10 stuff, and he would not upgrade to broadband for any reason, because his internet access to do email and look at a few web pages was $10 a month. There used to be $20 a month broadband around here. It was done by SBC Yahoo, later AT&T, later Frontier. It was SBC Yahoo DSL, 768K service. Super slow DSL by today's standards, but not really all that bad in like 2004, 2005. It was $20 a month. It got eliminated. And DSL turned into a situation where the price just kept going up because the lower tiers kept getting eliminated, until eventually it just got ridiculous to even have phone-based internet in the first place. Then we went off to... Unfortunately, Connecticut didn't have Verizon Fios, which is fiber to the home. They went fiber to the neighborhood, and technologically, AT&T Uverse never really worked out as well as Verizon Fios. So that eventually, when AT&T left Connecticut, selling off the wireline business to Frontier and going cellular only as a cellular provider, or wireless provider, I should say nowadays. Well, it created a similar situation with Frontier. So I can get Frontier service. If I want to leave the cable company and stop streaming, I can get the same internet I had before, and probably an introductory package as well. But I'll be back to 1 megabit up. Or 1 meg up. The same 14.1 service that I paid nearly $80 a month for a few years ago is still out there, and I could be on an introductory plan and start paying way too much for outdated service. Or I could put up with the cable company. So it's a de facto cable monopoly. But even 110 service is 80 something a month after taxes and fees. So it's quite a jump, you know. Well, that's because there have been tiers in the past for $20 a month internet, $30 a month internet, $40, $50, $60, and every single time they can, the ISPs drop whatever's affordable, and they just want to drive you up and up towards buying more and more stuff that you don't need or that you don't make any use of. So in my case, I would benefit more from synchronous internet because of all this YouTube stuff. I've heard of Verizon Fios people getting 75 in both directions. That would be fine for me. Instead, what we have is asynchronous stuff. If I go from here, oh yeah, by the way, the 250/20 that I started with this ISP has been eliminated. So now it's from 110, I would jump up to 450 or something. 400 down, 50 up, or something along those lines. There is no more 250/20. And then they have gigabit, and I think they're trying to go beyond gigabit. This also leads to, of course, a lovely situation where an ISP acts like a scummy landlord who makes unnecessary repairs and renovations to their apartment buildings to justify jacking rents. I don't know if you've seen slumlord types that do that kind of stuff, but that's one of the things that happens. Oh, well, I'm doing all this for you guys. No, you're doing all this so you can raise the rent, even if the tenants didn't actually need anything repaired or upgraded or renovated. Keep that in mind whenever you see a rental for sale that's newly renovated. It's a sales thing. So we have that with internet, and the price of internet per month gets up around that of electricity, but it's the worst thing in the world if we try to treat internet service like electricity service and regulate it. Explain that one. Especially when your home broadband setup, you're only going to use it when you're at home anyways. So maybe a couple of devices might use it on a regular basis, but you're not going to be using a lot of bandwidth unless you're watching Netflix in the evenings or something, versus running electricity so your refrigerator keeps running, the heat keeps running in the wintertime if you have electric heat. I mean, it's just the pricing structures of internet versus other utilities needs to very seriously be looked at. And don't forget also the phone side of all of this. And I don't mean phone-based internet like DSL or hybrid DSL or VDSL. I mean just your phone service. Because this year, I had that happen. Been having a lot of fun with AT&T prepaid. Do I have a phone around here? Nope, myself being an elder millennial, I actually have my phone charging in the other room. I don't have it with me everywhere I go. But I was singing the praises of broadband. I was singing the praises of AT&T because AT&T prepaid let you have a $2 a day plan. So you put like $25 prepaid. Every first call you made was $2 off the balance, and you had unlimited talk and text for 24 hours. So if you played your cards right and you were like me, you barely, if ever, make any phone calls. And you could also supplement it with Google Voice to call through the internet. If you didn't, like me, barely made any phone calls and only had a phone number around in case someone actually had to voice call you, the rare times it happened, or you had to call for a tow or something if the car broke down or something, you could pay, once you ran the numbers, because it was 3-month period, $25, about $7-ish a month for phone service. Show me anywhere else where you will pay $7-something a month for phone service. Yeah, thought so. I got the notice that the plan has been retired. I'm grandfathered in, but if you know there's some glitch and my account gets deactivated, the next thing I got to do is move up to a plan with data that I might never use and unlimited talk and text that I'll pay way too much for $30 a month. I think $25 with auto pay. Here's the problem. When I still had landline phone service, it was $30 a month. Should I get my landline back or something? And that's the problem. All these telecom services, all they know how to do is never ever make a good product or service that's actually affordable. They just sell you, they never want to just sell you what you need because the corporate bigwigs are like ARPU, average revenue per user, crank that number up. It's outrageous. And so when Ajit Head, Mr. Pie, decided to block me on Twitter, and I just found out about it today because he tried to be more wholesome and I couldn't see the tweet without going into my neutral browser. When Mr. Ajit Head decided to block me and whatnot, whenever the heck that was, that's why I made such a big deal out of it. I'll be toxic as all hell about it. You know, this is a technological spat of the last couple of years. I think he was on the wrong side, and he is so thin-skinned. He is so thin-skinned that he couldn't just transition peacefully to private life. He may never bring up that stuff ever again, in which case, would it matter? You know, how can you criticize, unless you want to live in the past, how can you criticize somebody who made some decisions you didn't like 2-3 years ago? Or something. So, yeah, I could probably make an entire stream just out of going over the recap stuff, which, you know, if nothing shows up in the chat, we'll just do that. At the center of all of this, though, is I didn't get the TV today. I think before we talk about the TV, though, let's talk about Logan 589XP. Let's see. Is it done charging yet? I'm sure it is. Wii U controller. Mint, because I barely have used it over the years. Can't believe this year's actually going to be 10 years since I got the Wii U. 10 years since I finally got the Wii HD that we were all waiting for all those years. The problem, and so here's the thing with me getting a Nintendo Switch. If I get a Nintendo Switch right now, when's the next hardware thing coming out? I'd probably be jumping in on the very end of Nintendo Switch's life cycle. So I'm going to run the Wii U into the ground. I know I joked about it. I said Wii U is trending. I'm going to run that thing till the sides fall off. But the truth of the matter is that between Wii U and PS3, of all things, that generation of hardware, I still have stuff I never played because I've been just doing PC gaming so darn much. Anything that doesn't have a newer version of the game, I mean, I'm going to a 1080p TV whenever this one comes in, so I'm not going up to 4K. So 720p won't look too fuzzy on it. So, especially if I take my glasses off and sit on the couch, I can probably fire up some of these retro now, well, I guess now they're retro, games from the 2000s and 2010s. And have some fun with them. And it won't look too bad because I know it's a weak console with basically PS3 era hardware. But Logan, I was joking. I hope Logan wasn't taking me seriously when I posted on my community tab about that was brutal. That was brutal. Yeah. So here's what happened. Logan was streaming on Twitch last night. Maybe I should see if he's doing a late night stream tonight. Logan was streaming on Twitch last night, and he was fooling around. He was talking about Mario Kart because there's some kind of Nintendo Direct announcement. I don't really follow Nintendo anymore because they're just completely, off their rockers nowadays. Wow, there's a lot of people streaming on Twitch nowadays, or tonight. Twitch is packed. I got a ton of stuff I could be watching. So I had to go to page 3 to see if Logan was live. I don't know if he's doing a late night thing or something like that. Probably not. And he tends not to be the kind of person that stays up late. But what happened was Logan was streaming, he was playing Mario Kart on the Switch, and I was like, hey, I actually have the Wii U version of that. Hey, look, it's Logan. Good. I knew something would bring you out of the woodwork. Yeah, I don't really know if you're a night person or not. I just know you're West Coast, so it's not really late night for you. So, look who it is. You know what? Hold on a second. Scene collection. Switch to gaming. Switch to ESO. Camera only. Okay, are we good? Now we just screwed up the camera again. I'm tempted to import this. into the chat stream thing, but chat streams is supposed to be chill. But just for the heck of it. Let's break the chill mood right now and see if anyone fell asleep listening to me be all mellow like that. Welcome, Logan! Woo! It's time to play some stuff! Welcome, Logan, to my late night, whatever you want to call it. Is this thing even picking? Yeah, it is picking up. I got so many audio sources on here now. Oh, yes. Well, now that I've woken you folks all up, let's get back to our mellow thing here. All right, let's get back to our mellow late night thing here and reset the camera and stuff like that. Yeah, sports arena alerts. Fun stuff. Well, that was something. Yeah, it's inspired by when someone scores a goal in hockey, except it doesn't fit this format at all. This is supposed to be like chill talking about stuff. And now it's like 11:47 at night here, and that's why I live in a house and not in a little house and not an apartment. Plus, it's headphones anyway, so of course, some of the noise I've made doing these kinds of things. Anyways, so here's the story since you're here. Here's the story since you hear about this. So first of all, this Wii U controller is mint. The Wii U is mint. I got it in 2012 to basically be my Nintendo box. And my Nintendo, it was basically, virtual consoles and stuff along those lines. So it's for virtual console, but I did, it's Wii, play Wii games at 1080p, that kind of stuff. I did have Wii games from the Wii era. The Wii that I have now was one of the ones that had graphical issues with the graphics chip. So there's artifacting on the screen if you play Wii games, but it works perfectly fine as a GameCube emulator playing GameCube games. That's basically what the Wii kind of does now, is just plays GameCube for me. And so Wii U was, I got some Wii U games, some Wii games, and Virtual Console, the Nintendo eShop, and all that other fun stuff. I was intimidated from playing on the Wii U a lot during its heyday because the controller, the gamepad was $170 on a $300 console. So I didn't want to drop the controller or anything along those lines. So yeah, the console was like the controller is $170, and it's resistive touchscreen, not all that great compared to tablets and stuff. So that's why I got the Wii U Pro controller, and I use this as much as possible so I can just have that thing off to the side. Never have to risk dropping it and breaking it or something. Plus the console, I don't know, it's dumb. I don't think unless a firmware update fixed this, I think you gimp the functionality of a Wii U if your controller is broken. I don't know if it'll work with just normal controllers and Wiimotes. So there's elements that require using the Wii U gamepad to type stuff in. So I was always nervous about that. I would probably be nervous about that with the Nintendo Switch as well. But it's just one of those things where I got it. The thing is, though, the console gaming and Mario games for me just haven't been a thing on a regular basis in a long time. So, especially with Nintendo's questionable decisions in the last decade. Some of the screwball things they did with Content ID. There was right before Super Mario Maker came out, they went on a copyright spree on YouTube. So everybody that was running ROM hacks and stuff, they were like, pirated software, DMCA. So they did exactly what Sega did when Sega was taking down Let's Plays from the Sega Saturn because a new Shining Force game was coming out. Well, Sega of Japan, or someone representing Sega of Japan, went on a DMCA spree and stuff. So you figure, I mean, I know that Japanese copyright law is very harsh compared to a lot of the rest of the world, as we're seeing with some of the anime issues with DMCA that are going on right now, but on various platforms. YouTube, one of them, of course. But one of the side effects of that is that you got to wonder, okay, what can I do to keep Nintendo from coming for me? And then Nintendo doesn't make it any better with their screwball MCN that they tried doing, where they help themselves to the ad revenue of people, of people who are monetized that were making videos about Nintendo games. So Nintendo really, yeah, I did get this console, but I barely ever played it. I got the Mario Kart and the Smash Brothers games, but I barely played them. And quite frankly, I barely play games with controllers full stop, except for Forza Horizon 4. So probably rusty as all heck. Here you were over here playing at 200cc, setting the AI difficulty to hard, and getting first place all the time. And here I was being the bozo that would be in last place all the time, or, just barely be able to even get across the finish line. And that was a total throwback for me, because that's exactly the situation that I was in with my dad when I was growing up. He was an Atari gamer. So by the time the Nintendo 64 came out, he was completely out of practice at just about everything game-related. I managed to get him during the Super Nintendo era to play Super Mario Kart. That's the only game I ever succeeded in getting him to play in, my contemporary gaming generations and stuff. So, could never get him to play anything on the NES. The last game he played prior to Mario Kart was Mario Brothers on the Atari 7800, and that was played with a joystick. So I got him to play Super Mario Kart, this thing he used to do in the evenings, winding down from work. I'd be doing my homework, and he'd be playing Mario Kart on my TV because I had all hooked up to the bedroom TV and stuff. So then Nintendo 64 came out. I got Mario Kart 64. He was originally supposed to be the owner of the Mario Kart 64 cart, but I kind of inherited it, whatever, when later on. So, but that's the situation, and that's what I went through. Let's see, chat participants? Yeah, everybody left. What, you don't want to hear me talk about Nintendo? Either that or the YouTube numbers bugged out again. It just keeps bugging out half the time. It's almost like it's less reliable than Twitch these days. But what happened last night, assuming he went to sleep, what happened last night with myself and Logan is exactly what happened with myself and my dad all those years ago. Whenever we played Mario Kart 64 in versus or, collaborative mode or something, I would always be in first because I had the game down ice cold. Even 150cc where jerking the controls too much made your character spin out. So mirror mode in Mario Kart 64 was actually 100cc. I could tell because some of the difficulty went away. I was like, why is this easier than 150cc mode? So I had the whole game down ice cold. I had the mini turbos down ice cold. I didn't really do snaking, which got nerfed in Mario Kart 7, but I had everything down ice cold on that spaceship controller that the Nintendo 64 had. So I had everything down ice cold. The game was just too easy for me. I wasn't playing RPGs at the time, so most of the games I had, I had ice cold in 2-3 weeks tops. I'm surprised Mario Kart 64 didn't have more of a difficulty curve to it. It seemed to be easier than Super Mario Kart. So, good drinks, man, good drinks. I didn't even, but that was exactly how it went. My dad and I would play versus or co-op mode. I keep trying to say collab because I'm used to talking about YouTubing and stuff like that. Collab mode, whether it's collab mode or versus mode. I would always be in first place, and he'd be maybe in the middle, if not last, because he was an Atari gamer. It would take him. I mean, by the time he was playing on N64, most of his motor skills at video games were from playing with joysticks in arcades and on Pong machines and on the Atari. A gamepad was a new thing to him, and I got him to use. And an analog stick was completely new to him, and he didn't have the time with his job and everything to really refine his skills and grind his way up to being able to play the game in his sleep like I did. And I used to, because I was a jackass teenager back then, I used to be like, look at my dad. He thinks he can play video games, old guy. And now here we are. Now it's my turn to be the old guy, except I actually do have a gamer background, but so did my dad. The problem is I've been playing keyboard mouse games for 20 years. Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, RPGs. I have had controllers for some games here and there, but it's not like, say, when the Nintendo 64 was my current console and I was holding the same controller all the time. I mean, you look at... Grab another one here. There's a couple of... let's see. There's a couple of look and feel and button layout differences between Wii U Pro, and then Switch Pro is a little bit different too. And Xbox One, which Xbox Series X just added an extra button to this. But even just DualShocks in general. I didn't grow up with DualShocks. I grew up with the N64's handle. No, I grew up with D-pads. And then a little bit of the N64 thumbstick in the middle, where you could hold the controller like this. Cruisin' USA, I got a clip out there, actually, of my Cruisin' USA Play Some stuff from 2009, where I was playing it one-handed, with a drink in the other hand. That's what I grew up with, though. My dad would get involved, and he'd be like, he was the one that could barely make it around the turret stuff. I could probably start playing Mario Kart again offline or just stream on Twitch or something like that and try and, get some practice in, actually get some skills back. Because there's a couple of things that Mario Kart 8 does that the Mario Karts I grew up with do. Like, Mini Turbo came back. You can't snake with it anymore. But I used to have to get used to holding down Mini Turbo around the corners until it fully fires up and then let go to get that burst of speed without using the back and forth thing that powered snaking. So could get rid of that. Could get used to that, I should say, and probably get some skill at the game. Another major thing that has changed since the last time I played Mario Kart games is TVs themselves. Not only widescreen, but also LCD screens and their response times have traditionally been behind what I had on my CRTs growing up. And even CRTs, if there was a difference in response time based on the size of your tube, I never knew about it because I had a little time. I don't know if I told this before on stream, but I actually had a little 13-inch square Daewoo TV, circa 1989 or so. It was my first ever color TV. If you can, I originally had a hand-me-down black and white TV that my dad used to use, and then I was getting games like Fester's Quest and Yo Noid. And I don't think Yo Noid had it. Fester's Quest had stuff that upgraded and downgraded your weapons based on whether it was blue or red. So, I could never tell if something was an upgrade or a downgrade because I was playing on a black and white TV. So it was really amazing when I finally got a color TV. And I just remember I was renting Yo Noid from the video store on the NES. back when I finally got my first ever color TV. But it wasn't all that great of a color TV. It didn't have stereo speakers. It only had mono. So when the SNES and the N64 had stereo mode, I could never hear music stereo separated correctly. So if I have muscle memory and memories of growing up and being used to games like Wave Race 64, it's with Mario 64, I should say. It's with mono sound. I never got to play with stereo sound when I was growing up. And the tube TV, gotta adjust the TV a bit because it's crooked. The tube TV that I grew up with was actually off center. If I could have popped open the back of that thing and not gotten fried by the flyback transformer, and it's 25,000 volts or whatever the heck those things used to do, it's a suction cup on the back of a tube, went to a very high voltage transformer that made the CRT run. Very dangerous if you didn't know what you were doing. I don't miss tube TVs. They're nostalgic and retro, but I was worried about radiation and other stuff like that back then. Plus power guzzlers versus little 10-watt thingy gives you 1080p nowadays. So, but mine was a little off-center. So there's everything on the left I couldn't see because the screen was going off the edge on the left side. So even the way I perceive the UI in games like Mario 64 doesn't match what I would get today. Basically, as much as I used to be really good at video games when I was growing up, and I'd always beat games so fast that until I got into RPGs, folks thought if I just couldn't stay focused on games anymore. I get to the point where I'd have the whole game down ice cold, and I'd be making my own fun by like trying to do challenges and stuff like that. But none of that means anything in today's day and age. It's really a great way to talk about just what happens as you age as a gamer. Not just talking about the usual getting old stuff, where maybe your eyes get a little crappy, or you lose some reflexes or something, or you do jobs and your skin toughens up so controllers don't feel the same. I'm not even talking about stuff like that, the whole age happens stuff as it is, but just enough has changed that I'm essentially, if I play a Nintendo game like Mario Kart 8, I'm basically a brand new gamer. I can't pretend I actually know. I know intellectually some things that have existed in Mario Kart throughout the years, but in terms of real world playing games on the Wii U or the Switch, I'm basically completely new to video games, and I got to be humble enough to admit that because I just don't have the muscle memory down yet for these things. And in this controller, I'll get this down pat, and then I'll have to figure out a Switch Pro controller if I go Switch or the Switch's successor. So it was very interesting. It was quite interesting to see the whole thing with Mario Kart and everything, just how I'm in my dad's position now. I can't see Facebook on this logon. I'm curious if my dad's responded to the post. I put something on Facebook. I was like, some young kid smoked me in Mario Kart. Didn't have the heart to tell him that I'm contemporary to the Nintendo 64. Well, yeah, the last Mario Kart game that I played on a regular basis to the point where I could be competitive was the Nintendo 64 one. I do have Mario Kart Double Dash for the GameCube, but I only played that sporadically after college. Same thing with Mario Kart Wii, Mario Kart 7, and Mario Kart 8. So it's one of those things. I'm getting into MMOs, playing ESO, getting established in that world, and it's a nice, relaxing thing to do, and I'm too tired to do anything else after work. Just totally destroys my ability to be any good at games like Mario Kart. So yeah, we were in 200cc flying off the course. It was a total lack of crawl before walking for me to be, on that stream. Might be interesting though, because YouTube today, Neil Mohan announced collab streaming being a standard feature on YouTube. I'm gonna have to take a look at that. And I'm curious how the tech works, but we'll save that for like the last part of the discussion. We haven't even talked about Amazon and the TV yet. So that's really, like I said, chat streams. That's why I'm putting clickable program guides into the chat streams, because they're going to need them now. If something is really good enough, this might be good enough for stuff from streams, me talking about being a rusty old gamer. So this is probably the one part that's good enough to be a stuff from streams, because it's handy from an algorithmic perspective to just kind of, talk about what it's like when you get older as a gamer. That it's not just you getting old that changes your ability to play video games. It's the changing technology and other stuff getting old too. I should probably throw in at the end, as we get to the end of this discussion, plastic changes as it ages. So I've got Wii U here, but If I get one of my old Super Nintendo controllers, my Super Nintendo is contemporary to the early 90s. It's my original Super Nintendo from when I was growing up. Christmas of 1994, I think, or 93 or something like that. But the thing is, those are decades old SNES controllers. So the plastic could have stiffened in them. Anything, if the plastic yellows, if plastic in a piece of electronics yellows, it's more brittle. So the bottom of my Super Nintendo is probably more prone to breaking than the top is, because that's what yellowing does. It's a chemical reaction. So the controllers you hold as an adult that you've had for 20, 30 years may not even be the same physical controllers as you had when you were a kid because of chemical changes in the plastic over the years, or things got worn down, or things got dusty, or so there's a cold solder joint somewhere. Just not the same. So yeah, I mean, the whole thing about you can't go back, it really is a thing. It sucks, but it's life. So that's why as far as Nintendo plans go, I think I do want to have a Nintendo box around, but I'm not in a rush because Nintendo keeps doing these bonehead moves. So I'm going to run the Wii U into the ground. I mostly got to figure out if I want to do Switch at any point ever. I want to make sure I don't get into the Nintendo Switch and then the next thing is announced and I'm like, I just bought a Switch for nothing. Plus, I don't see myself playing Nintendo games enough to justify a membership to Nintendo Switch Online. It would probably be one of those my alternate MMO subscriptions that I'm constantly toggling on and off as I play stuff and stop playing stuff. Things like that. But yeah, it was a humbling experience. I was wondering when I'd start to feel old. And it makes me wonder, say, you said you're a Zoomer, born in the 2000s-ish. So that make you 20s or so by now. When you're heading towards 40 and someone half your age does that to you in a video game, I'm just telling you now, it's a weird experience to feel old in that specific way, especially when you know that you could probably practice and get good at stuff. Then again, I did get my Elgato box working. I just got to find better software. I probably got to go back to the 1080p software to get the Elgato box working because it lagged the heck out of my OBS when I tried starting the stream tonight. So I'm probably going to play some more Mario Kart and try and get some actual skill at it. Oh yeah, I should probably also mention, besides oh, look who it is. You might as well wait till the Switch 2. So yeah, this YouTube concurrent counter just sucks. It looks like everybody left the stream. I don't know why I even bother with it. Switch 2 comes out, especially will most likely be backward compatible late 2024. Okay, my Wii U will be 12 years old by then. Now maybe I'll get used. Well, I still see some of these big streamers playing Mario Kart 8 on the Switch version of it. So, okay, yeah, YouTube still has problems with that concurrent counter. It sucks. Can't use it. Can't rely on it for anything. If they have a disclaimer in there now, oh, it's what was happening the last time we polled for data. When does it poll for data? It's supposed to be an average. Oh, look, now it's back to 2. Screw it. I don't know why I even keep that on screen over there. But yeah, it's a weird experience to know that once upon a time, you were in that position with your dad being the one that could barely get through the courses, and now it's your turn to be the old guy. Oh, man. Been here the whole time, lol. YouTube, get your stuff together. Seriously. You want to be a Twitch competitor, it's going to take some work. Neil Mohan has an announcement thing, but I'm kind of surprised that he didn't talk about more features. Hey, you know, this is about the TV not arriving, so I should probably talk about the TV. Here's my plans for everything. Let's see. If I do any tech video stuff tonight, I want to do some kind of sunset video for this Samsung TV that I've been using as a stream light and as my main screen since 2008. Let me just give you an idea. Let me fire up Twitter again, as much as I was lampooning it earlier. Let me take a look. Let's see. Past all the controversial or the edgy stuff or things like that. This Wii U, Nintendo Switch nothing. I'm running this Wii U until the freaking sides fall off. Let's put that back at the pinned post. We gotta remember to put this up later when the stream replay is available, but chat streams are kind of more of a chit chat with, you know, folks who want to stop by or just leave something available for people to watch after the fact. Let me see here. Where was what was I looking for again? Back up to the top. Now, we have the thing from Neil Mohan, which we should probably load up. So the TV, here it is. So I made a YouTube clip. I made a YouTube clip, and it's over on Twitter. The stupid part is YouTube clips don't really work on YouTube, so you got to go to third-party stuff for it. But here's all the ways in which the silent march of time has progressed. Probably put this, if I make a video about this, I'll probably put this in there as well, and I'll probably show the clip as well. I'm going to put it on screen and everything if I do a tech video about all that with the sunset of the Samsung TV. So when I got this TV, first of all, it's a cold cathode backlight. So it's the old, not power efficient pre-LED TV, LCD LED TV technology powering it. So I have the backlight at 10 to use as a stream light, which guzzles 200 watts. And if I turn it all the way down to 0, like Patrick Norton used to talk about on HD Nation back in the 2000s, back when there was a podcast just for HD TVs and movies, back in those days. If I do what HD Nation used to talk about way back in the day, I can get this TV down to 100 watts. The sad part is, I've seen, single-digit watts out of today's displays. Make it a little bigger, up to like 40 inches, which is the one I ordered, which is 2019 Samsung. The last 1080p display they made before they went all 4K. So I'm going to kilowatt that thing when I hook it up to, I go to hook it up. I'm probably going to, I do have the clamp for it though. Amazon was able to get me the clamp to bolt the thing to my desk. But first I want to start it out on its default stand. I'll just go without a center channel while I'm playing with that and hook up the kilowatt and see what the wattage is from that thing and see what the wattage range is. The old one is 100 to 200. But since you want to talk silent march of time, since I bought this Samsung TV in 08, let's see, back then I was using a landline phone from SBC before they got bought out by AT&T and Frontier bought that later. Analog Clips Pro Media 5.1s. Today I use an AV receiver with custom speakers. I don't have computer speakers anymore and haven't for years. I was using a Microsoft Digital Media keyboard. That's basically, I saw a retro keyboard typing ASMR video a while back that was using a Digital Media Pro, and I was like, wow. I looked for keyboard ASMR to see what kind of goofball stuff people were doing to try and make ASMR videos out of keyboards, and I find someone with vintage or retro, and it's a Digital Media Pro, and I'm like, ugh. Windows XP, I only had one Wii sensor bar on top of the TV because I hadn't gotten the Wii U yet. CyberBuddy, the program that I featured in the Silver Bullet 2000 project, was running in taskbar. There's a reference to tube TVs in the discussion. It was my old apartment, which the Geek House has completely superseded. George W. Bush was still president. The financial crisis had just happened, and there was one other thing I wanted to talk about that I keep forgetting to mention. What was it? Oh, PS3 era, of course. PS3 era, and I think Blu-ray was still a little on the expensive side back then. Oh yeah, World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King was a brand new expansion pack for WoW back then. So, all these things that have changed. You talk about the silent march of technology. I'm sitting here with this TV slowly dying if I turn it off. And I'm like, this can't be that old, can it? Yes, it can. So much stuff has happened since 2008 when I got this darn thing. So much. Just the silent march of technology. Technology that just works, gets old right under your nose, and you don't even notice it. All right, so what's the story with the TV? How come this is called the TV intermission thing? So my plan is make a tech video about the old Samsung being sunset, and then make a tech video setting up the new Samsung and probably putting the clamp on it and stuff like that. Just have plenty of stuff to make into videos and get my initial experience, the unboxing, things along those lines. Get all that done. But that's my plans for this. So I don't have the TV yet because Amazon flipped one of those things. Amazon did one of those things where oh, your order is going to be here a day early. So here's the problem. I placed the order wanting it on Friday. Today, I had a medical appointment for my back. It was supposed to be a chores day. I was supposed to go to a recycling place before I went to the doctor. And then I was supposed to go cash in cans at Walmart, pick up groceries, do whatever other choresy type stuff I wanted to do because I'm going back to work on Sunday. and there's snow in the forecast, so people are probably mobbing the grocery stores, right? You know, people are going to be mobbing the grocery stores over the weekend. So now I got to think about, do I just want to be lazy and, you know, use older bread and stuff that I never used up this week, even though it might be a little stale or something next week? The stuff along those lines. There's some other non-grocery things I wanted to pick up as well, like another water pitcher and stuff like that, because another zero water pitcher, because the town has turned up the chlorine in the water, so if I take a shower it smells like a YMCA. Yeah, somebody overdid the chlorine or the chloramine in the water in this town, and it's basically swimming pool water now. So grab a zero water filter. It's tougher and more expensive than Brita. Good for filtering chlorine, although I think the cheapo filters can filter chlorine pretty well. So, but it's just a matter of taking out that stupid... We have city water, basically, now. It has that city water taste. I used to like it when I was little. Yeah, weird, right? Yeah, I used to really like the taste of city water when I was a dumb little kid, because I grew up on well water, which didn't taste like anything. So I was like, huh, this water tastes different. Yeah, well, now I know about chlorine, and it's yeah. So I know about that stuff now, so I'm not as dumb as I used to be. But I used to go to like a bubbler, like if we visited a more built up area, I'm like, this water tastes different. Yeah, because it's treated with chlorine. So thing is, I don't need my tea tasting funny, because it's essentially like swimming pool water that's coming out of the tap. So I don't want tea tasting funny or whatever the health effects are. So I think it might be cancer risk from chlorine and stuff like that. So it's just, no, I want water to just be water. I've gotten over the whole, oh, city water tastes different thing. So I got to go pick up a pitcher for that. Because now the drinks that I make are basically powdered drinks, sugarless, mixed together. Like usually the Walmart, like pomegranate stuff or something. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think I was getting drunk on these streams? My sense of humor is goofy even when I'm sober. And I'm old enough to tell dad jokes, so if I'm pretty cringe, that's part of the reason why. So, yeah. The net effect of this TV issue, today was supposed to be the chores day where I took care of all that, but oh no, the TV might get here, and what if the Amazon folks show up when I'm at this appointment, because this doctor's pretty slow. I was actually there for like 2 hours because he was getting clobbered with patients, because it's that time of the year when people's backs get sore because it's cold out in the winter, and they also got a new computer system because they've been bought out by a larger healthcare org, so they're getting used to all their new systems and things are a little slow. So it was over an hour in the patient room before the doctor even got in there. So I'm over here like, hope they're not dropped. Oh, and the Wi-Fi didn't work either, because there's new equipment running their networks now with the new ownership, and the password's different. So I'm there stuck in a doctor's office with no anything. Can't do anything on my phone unless I downloaded like books to read or something. There's like nothing there. I don't have data on my phone because I never need it. So I can call for a tow with voice if the car breaks down. And I have Wi-Fi in most places, and internet doesn't have to dominate my every waking moment, though some might think otherwise. Most of the broadband that I use is the home broadband. So real broadband, and I'm paying $80 something a month for this crap, so I better maximize the hell out of it. I have a short, like 10-minute commute to work because I live close to the place where I work. The most fortunate I've been ever in my career to be close to a place where I go make a living. So don't even need the highway anymore. It's not a lot of wear and tear on the car, and it's not the worst thing in the world if I have to wait to go get someone's like internet email or something. I will still receive text messages though. So I can get text messages when I'm over the voice network when I'm on the road. But yeah, horrible. So today, completely off the radar. When I wake up tomorrow afternoon, because I'm still night shift, assuming the Amazon folks don't bang on my door and wake me up. Yeah, here's this big TV, and you can't hardly stand up. Get it in the house. I gotta get out of my route. So, depending on the timetable and stuff, I gotta figure out if I can sneak off to get some tech recycled, cans cashed in, things like that. Can I salvage tomorrow? Now that I know that I'm gonna be getting the TV tomorrow, the original delivery day, or is Amazon gonna screw this up again and it's gonna be late? So yeah, I was tweeting earlier because the delivery window was 10 p.m. up to 10 p.m. I have never seen an Amazon Prime out here after sunset. Never. I'm over here like, is Amazon bragging about their service and trying to sell themselves, so to speak, after the product's already been sold? No, I just want the darn thing I ordered. I know there's a mess right now with drivers and stuff for these routes. I know Amazon treats their employees like dirt too, by the way. So, and then Amazon turned around and decided to get us customers in on the action by raising the price of Amazon Prime. Whatever. Yeah, so darn Amazon, it's like, for all the ticking people off that they do, this is the result? So I got the clamp to bolt the TV to my desk that isn't even here yet. That's what arrived a day early. Instead of just getting everything on Friday, errands on Thursday, TV on Friday, good-looking video games over the weekend. Amazon, what the... Well, I suppose it's better than getting ripped off by Newegg. Yeah. Gamers Nexus. Bad experience with Newegg and far from the only one. Newegg's just not the Newegg that used to be. I'm wondering about some of those case badges I have on Tuxedo and the Silver Bullet now. I think I'll leave them on there as a respectful gesture for the Newegg of yesteryear, which is basically what those things were built with. Whenever I build the next system, though, it's not going to be from Newegg. Not one penny to Newegg until they're under new ownership after the crap they've been doing to their customers. Apparently, there's a money-grubbing company that bought them from I think they're from China or something. Newegg has always had ties to China. Some of their refurbished stuff was from there, but the problem is, there might be some things that I can only get from Newegg, but I'm relegating Newegg to like a niche e-tailer. Kind of like if I bought some stuff from Frozen CPU back in the day when they had those controversies about the owner shutting down the business for 2 months with orders in the queue. So, or whatever the heck it was. So Amazon has matured and developed to the point where I might just Amazon the whole darn thing. Heck, sad what happened to Newegg, but I'm not going to put up with that crap. So yeah, the TV, it's not here. Stuck with the dinosaur for another night. But there will be tech videos, though. It'd be dumb if I didn't do them. I also have some other things I can experiment with, too. So it's 12:21 at the Geek House. I might want to save myself some hours to go do some more stuff. I was doing some other stuff today while trying to figure out if the TV was going to get here or not. Got some storage thingies over in the project area. And I got to get everything ready to go out, just recycle some of the old electronics, like the old paper shredder that broke, the old printer that broke. Stuff I would have recycled a long time ago if the pandemic hadn't happened and the town recycling center shut down because of COVID. So there's some private... Actually, I think the private sector's recycling places are nervous, too. I think even the Staples place doesn't take electronics recycling for a bit because of the Omicron wave that's been going around. My dad was talking about that earlier. So I have a half-dismantled old laser printer, the old one from the old apartment, still sitting around waiting to be recycled, and I have that dead mailmate shredder that I put some lettuce through and made a salad in that jokey reference to The Office way back in the day. So that died, probably a power supply problem, and that died, and I just don't feel like trying to fix any of that stuff. So been meaning to recycle that for years at this point. It's been over in the project area, kind of just sitting there collecting dust, but the pandemic just shut things down like crazy. Well, I look forward to whatever normal we can get back to now that there's no variant on the horizon. Then we'll have to deal with a political mess from what's happened to the Trump folks since President Biden took office. That's a completely different discussion, but I've already made some graphics about that to illustrate just what the heck's going on with the Canadian truckers and why I'm so cynical of them. Because I don't talk about this much, but I have a formal background in political science. It was my minor in college for a reason. I wanted to be able to navigate controversial issues and people trying to sell me sales pitches from an ideological perspective. So, it's the whole freedom trucker thing is a front. There's really something else going on behind the scenes. It's not what it looks like. Not in Canada, and it won't be that way in the US either. You gotta know a few things about formal things about politics to understand this, though. Totally different discussion. We'll save that for some other time. Okay, 12:23 at the Geek House. let's load up, we'll upgrade our browser mode here, because I have some new overlays to add in. So yeah, I did the thing with Minx earlier, and I thought it looked kind of cringy to have it look like I'm on a call with her, and it's not labeled properly. So we'll start putting some things in here. All right, Multimedia J on Twitter. We can close that out. We'll link this up to Twitch. Woo! Lit up big time, baby. There was a big announcement from YouTube today. Neil Mohan, one of the product directors over at YouTube, just minimize live control room for this. Neil Mohan talked about some new features. This could be worth the stuff from Stream's video as well. So let's restart the music. Actually, no. Let's set up browser mode first before we start that. So first, let's link the web browser. No, don't go into the Komodo firewall. Darn taskbar popping up, and I'm trying to click the corner of OBS here. All right, let's link up to Chrome. Look at 2022, community, collaboration, and commerce. Oh, that leaves browser mode really, really small. All right, let's put Multimedia J over to the side, and let's bring in a new VLC video source, quote unquote. All right, browser mode overlay. And we shall add in loop the playlist, files. I think I have it on the directory. You know what? Let's keep the music going while we're setting this up, and then just restart the YouTube video. We're going on that. Desktop, assets, stream overlays. All right, browser mode. There it is. It's gonna be big and it's gonna be yellow until you put a chroma key on it. There we go. The fun part is I can do a copy paste. The fun part is I can do a copy paste to the filters and just instantly chroma it. Because I have it set to Windows yellow for this blue stuff and whatnot. Might have some green issues because green screen artifacts, but should make for an easy way to just trim this down. Then let's put it up in the corner here. This in the corner, like up here. There we go. We have browser mode, React mode, and debate mode. I think down here, though, we can just move that up a little and just center it a little better at the edge. These are technically video files that are playing with chroma keying going. That's how I have the text doing the constant thing here. They're actually little movies that are playing all the time for these kinds of things. All right. Google uses cookies. Wow. Let's see here. Let's also make myself a little... Let's also see here. Let me just scroll it a bit here, and let's see. Let me see if something happens. I think it's going to happen. And we'll look at this. This is Google Chrome. Is it trying to get me to log in, or am I already logged in on here? Let's see. You know what? Let's shrink it down to half size. We can do... let's see here. We can do React mode to it as well. Yes, I have cookies. Da-da-da. Just going to scroll a bit, see if it tries to get me to log in. I don't want that pop-up appearing. Or I can just make myself big enough that it'll cover everything up. That's probably the better idea. Okay, browser mode. Browser. Let's do this. That should cover up quite a bit of stuff here. We'll just watch where it is on the screen. And let's do this. Stuff from Streams number 2. Stuff from Streams candidate number 2. We talked about this whole thing with being an older gamer. Now let's talk about Neil Mohan's announcements for YouTube's focuses for 2022. All right, for that, we'll have to do this the old-fashioned way. All right. Dead air. Oh, no. How come it just minimized? Come on, computer. Keep your stuff straight. All right, ready? A look at 2022 Community Collaboration and Commerce by Neil Mohan, Chief Product Officer of YouTube, February 10th, 2022. This was a blog post that recently posted up over on the YouTube blog, the official YouTube blog. So let's see here. Let's take a look at some things here. Look at 2022, Community YouTube Chief Product Officer offers an inside look at the year's new products, tools, and features for creators, viewers, and partners. How about we make this nice and big, too? Let's take a look at this. Last year, I launched an innovation series to give you an inside look into how our teams are working to redefine the video experience in 2021 and beyond. It was quite a year for innovation at YouTube. We refreshed how viewers engage with content, from improving core experiences like search, the infrastructure, Platform advanced across apps and formats like YouTube TV, Shorts, and music. To host new ways for creators to make money and brought more choice to parents to guide their families' experiences. Along the way, partner with creators to empower them to do what they do best. But in a lot of ways, we're just getting started. I'm excited for all the new products and tools we'll be rolling out in 2022. So this is basically the new stuff that's been going on here. Go over a couple of key details here. YouTube creators are the heart and soul of the platform, and you want them to always be able to fulfill the most ambitious, creative goals. Yeah. Very, very important thing, because one of the things I talked about the YouTube dislike thing is that YouTube's in a position where the biggest and smallest content creators out there, they have to focus on the individual now, because people at both ends, or should I say people that are too big, can go start their own CDNs and pull content off of YouTube or not really depend on YouTube anymore, or render YouTube content redundant. I haven't talked about that enough, but so if there's a free-to-watch movie, like there is plenty of nowadays on YouTube that's free with ads, if you put the movie ad free on some internal service, why watch it on YouTube? So it's a competitive move that puts YouTube on the spot with how they handle it. So the reason I think that we're seeing all this renewed interest in the individual from YouTube after years and years of corporatization is because YouTube is in a position where they have to. I think we're waiting for a CDN to get launched by some of the largest YouTubers, and I mean like PewDiePie sized. I think we're waiting for them to start some kind of content delivery network and leave YouTube, and then YouTube's gonna have to figure out what to do. It is possible for creators to essentially hit the ceiling on these platforms. We're seeing it on Twitch with some of the bigger streamers. Which is one of the reasons why I was a little shocked that Pokimane decided to stay on Twitch. I think she's pulling a ninja. She's big enough to where it doesn't really matter what she does, so like she says herself, she could just have fun. And so Twitch is where she thinks she can have the most fun, so she just streams on Twitch, even if it's not the best use of her time and talents. So that's kind of a Devin Nash kind of answer. Let me see, let's make this just a hair bigger. So when I sit up like this, I don't go off like that. Go off the top, or cut the top of my head off. YouTube creators are the heart and soul. We want them to be able to do creative goals. Of course, we know there's automated systems that are the biggest damper to that. People don't like losing channels to trying to appeal to YouTube and getting robots at level 1 and having to trick their way past the robots to get to people at level 2 technical support. Well, let's see here. To give them every opportunity possible, we'll continue to invest across our multiple formats: Shorts, Live, and VOD, video on demand, at least using VOD as an adjective instead of a noun, unlike on Twitch with VODs. In the months ahead, we will bring even more engagement and monetization options across all three formats. I don't know if really more monetization is really the key here. I think the big thing that YouTube needs to look at is gating monetization. Because the current setup with the 4,000, 1,000 rule, with 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers required in order to be a partner and get access to all of this stuff, that's from back when ads had to be gated, when ads were the primary source of revenue for creators. Whoops. Wrong pipe. So this goes back to when ads had to be gated for necessity. Today, there's a lot of other ways for YouTubers to make money besides ads. There's memberships and supers and other stuff. But at the very same time, though, YouTube themselves has recreated the problem they fixed with right to monetize. Unless you can show me evidence that YouTube magically started selling a lot more ads and stuff like that after they rolled out their right to monetize, unless you could show me that, we have to conclude that the same amount of ads that they were selling is now spread among a larger user base in terms of the impressions. So does that like dilute the money that goes to individual creators when the ad impressions can be sold, when the ads can be sold and the impressions can be, sent all over the place? Short form content is incredibly popular. YouTube Shorts have now enjoyed over 5 trillion all-time views. Darn skin oil. What the heck? Oh, it's 12:33. Yeah, I was up early and showered early as a result of that. Plus ran around a little to get some exercise. Creators and artists of all stripes, from Jake Fellman and Lisa Wynn to BTS and Marina Sena, is that how you say it, have seen the power of shorts connect with fans around the world with astonishing speed and scope. The thing is, I think it's like Twitch, though. YouTube technically has a competing service to Twitch, but Twitch is still bigger as the specialist platform. I think TikTok is still in the same position versus YouTube Shorts, but we'll see how that goes. Plus, with YouTube Shorts, different, TikTok went to 3 minutes for TikToks instead of 1 minute. So is YouTube going to follow suit and just eventually turn YouTube Shorts into like a 5-minute vertical format? I would actually do something like that. There's a lot of people watching YouTube on phones vertically these days. So YouTube getting in on the phone side of things is something else altogether. But it's only in certain parts of the world where the internet is viewed on mobile phones more often that's really a thing. In 2022, we'll continue to improve the product, make it easier to create videos, building on a feature we introduced last year that lets you remix audio from videos across YouTube. I might actually try that. If there's marry-up technology, that gives me an idea for some YouTube shorts. Do some lip sync or something. If that's marry-up technology that connects your video with the copyrighted audio or something, if that's available like it is on TikTok and the record company gets some money for that, I would actually consider doing that, especially if the app lets you link the songs in. Wouldn't it be a horrible, horrible PR disaster if the YouTube Shorts thing let you put in music and then you got DMCA'd for it? Of course, then again, that's maybe the sort of thing I can imagine happening at YouTube with the way things are with these systems when they're under development. But from videos across YouTube, we'll introduce new capabilities that empower creators to express themselves even more, new video effects, editing tools, and more. To help Shorts creators engage with their audience more personally, we'll also introduce the ability to reply to individual comments by creating a short. This is trouble waiting to happen. Although YouTube might have better enforcement on this. Video comments were a thing over on livevideo.com. And unfortunately, livevideo.com back in the day never was all that great at policing adult content. So basically, it was the online video version of someone sending a picture of their equipment, so to speak. Someone would troll you with like a vulgar, with like a picture of their junk, so to speak. So you could just say dick pic like the rest of the world. I don't know. I guess we're as good as demonetized anyway, so maybe I should. But I'd like to be more professional than that, but oh well. Reply to individual comments by creating a short. That's video comments. That might be a problem. If you can respond to shorts with shorts, though, that's basically a stealth reintroduction of video responses. And there used to be channels that ran off of video responses. Imagine if somebody made a video and was like, make YouTube shorts responding to this topic and let me know what you think, and we'll feature the best of them on. That's actually a good idea. Because YouTube shorts are vertical. So if someone who used to run a video response channel back in the 2010s before the feature was pulled from YouTube for low use, if there's a way that people can create shorts to video respond to videos, there might be some channels that would use that because they could make their video horizontal and put a vertical short in and look at the best of responses or something. I can even imagine someone doing like a talent show or something like that where, oh, come sing a song. And then they put like the shorts on there and it looks kind of like, like so-and-so's Got Talent or something. We also launched the YouTube Shorts Fund last year to start rewarding creators for their work. While this was just a first step, we're already helping a new generation of creative entrepreneurs. Over 40% of creators who got a check from the fund last year weren't previously monetizing their content on YouTube. YouTube, you say that like it's a good thing. Lower the requirements for partnership. YouTube is what I like to call the big red wall. Compared to getting monetized on Twitch and getting monetized on Facebook, YouTube is way too big. So again, the big red wall, the current 4,000, 1,000 rule over a 365-day period, nonetheless, that's just too high. It needs to be something quicker that people can achieve so they don't get like disheartened into not pursuing it. Plus, if this was gated because of advertising, there's other forms of revenue, and ad revenue is getting diluted anyways. So why does this even still exist? We'll start to test other ways to make money on shorts, like exploring new ways for shorts creators to build branded content through Brand Connect, integrating fan-funded features like Super Chat into shorts, and bringing the ability to shop directly from a short. This would be good for creators with merch and stuff. If YouTube can make an internal system that basically does what external providers like Stream Elements do, then they can get a cut of that. And they know it's a thing with streamer culture out in the streaming world. So it could be the thing where, you know, make some cute little t-shirt and sell it as merch directly through YouTube instead of going through third parties. It's just another way of striking back against this cottage industry of third-party services that people have to leave YouTube in order to use. That's probably the major driver here. Just like how memberships kind of make Patreon obsolete. And so Patreon responds by lowering their cut of the sub split, so to speak, which makes me wonder, how long is Patreon going to stay viable as a business if they're constantly undercutting themselves like that? I don't know. Maybe they've done something to try and fix that. I don't really pay too much attention to Patreon. It's kind of a legacy thing on my channel setup anyways. Live is, oh, here's a good one. I'm talking streaming now. Live is another area that we'll see progress this year to build on our momentum. Daily live watch time has more than tripled between January 2020 and December 2021. So that's cool. But always be wary of sales pitches that use percentages like that, because in terms of watch hours, let me see. Let me go to full cam again, and let me double check that. Streamlabs didn't do like some midnight release of their Q4 numbers, right? Nah, I don't think so. Let's see. Streamlabs blog. They didn't. Good. All right. Because YouTube's like, what, a third to a quarter the size in terms of hours watched? You know, I could quit being lazy and open Excel and take a look at that myself. Streamlabs Quarterly Cruncher. Hey, is Excel mode working on this yet? I don't have the overlays for it, but keep an eye on it. Accessibility issues. Oh, thank you, Excel. I really needed all this crap. let me just rattle off the number from 2021 Q3. This is in millions, by the way. That's the hours. That's the ratio. Give me hours watched under audience growth. All right, hours watched. 2021 Q3. Twitch. This is in millions, by the way. Let's see here. Let's see. We just do results by quarter. Yeah, it's in millions. Twitch is 5,787 million hours watched. YouTube was only 1,131 million hours watched. So about a fifth of the size. So when you say that YouTube tripled, YouTube is still smaller from a live perspective than Twitch is. All right, we can go back to the article now. So yeah, YouTube is actually smaller than Twitch, substantially smaller than Twitch. So tripling the size of YouTube is basically tripling the size of a small platform compared to Twitch when it comes to live streaming, watch hours, and the size of the audience. And this is kind of a thing for me too. I mean, you think, why don't we run the math on that? I've seen the biggest Elder Scrolls Online creators on Twitch. Does the calculator still pop up? Not in browser mode. The biggest Elder Scrolls Online streamers on Twitch can get like triple-digit concurrence, while the biggest Elder Scrolls Online, which roughly lines up with the biggest ESO creators on Twitch, getting like 1,000 or so concurrence when they're at their, like Lucky Ghost, getting like 1,000 concurrence when they're at their peak. So 1,000 divided by 5. So on YouTube, that comes out to like 200 concurrence. That's roughly the size of some of the bigger YouTubers that stream ESO that I've seen. A lot of times it's smaller than that. So the crap numbers that I see from a smaller audience in general on YouTube gaming is perfectly in line with what I've come to expect. It's perfectly in line, actually, with the ratios directly, though. See here. So yeah, lifetime may have tripled, but it's a substantially smaller platform. Now here's the big one. The cute little picture here, by the way. Here's the big one. We'll introduce collaborative live streaming, which, you guessed it, allows creators to go live together and create even more interactive streams for their audiences. That is huge, but I wonder how it works. So if we look at the collaborative live streaming, can we zoom in on this picture? Oh yeah, make it nice and big. So here is a collaborative live stream. You have two people here live streaming at the same time. My question is, how is this working? Is this working via two different feeds being married together, or is this all one video? And if this is all one video, how is policy enforced? That's the biggest question I have, because Twitch has this ongoing problem. Twitch has this ongoing problem where they take a step too far, so to speak, and they punish the streamer for something they may not be able to control, like the behavior of someone else in their chat or something like that, or someone else on stream. There even was a situation involving a podcast, which is basically a Discord call, not unlike this collaborative live stream demo, just with more videos, more windows, I should say, where somebody did something TOS and they were the only ones that got banned because Twitch actually did their due diligence instead of banning the streamer who technically was broadcasting the inappropriate content by having that person on their stream. So it's kind of iffy, wishy-washy, shaky type stuff here. Considering YouTube in its earlier years with YouTube streaming actually had people... Pokey? Oh, this is some kind of Among Us thing. That's this chat over here. What? What, they just put two pictures on top of some Among Us live stream? Sus. I'm looking at all this here. Saikuno sounds so sus, lol. Was this photoshopped as kind of like a proof of concept? This is Among Us stuff over here. Look at it. Saikuno, hype lol, Pokey, I'm sus of spoopy. Bye, I'm die, yay. Saikuno sounds so sus. This is Among Us here. And yet this is called Chatting on the Go with Kristen Vandiyar. 7,000 watching. This is an Among Us stream that's been... This has to have been photoshopped. There's no way. The chat does not at all make sense. Hey, Dan, what's going on? So... doesn't make any sense at all, but this is basically what they had in mind for collab streams. So then there's the other question of, if the person on this side or this side does something DMCA and they get DMCA'd, do they take the whole stream down and they both get strikes? Or does this side of the screen black out and this side of the screen black out and the other person will just delete their side of the stream later? So a lot of this, I think, is problems with it's just the logistics of it all. How is it going to work out, especially with YouTube as a long-term platform where streams are watched after the fact as extra long YouTube videos? And of course, you have stuff like what I do with stuff from streams and stuff, which we're up to 2 of those tonight. So I got to make sure I go in while it's processing and try and split that off before I call it a night here. But this is the big feature that they're bragging about, is collab streaming. So I got to wonder, my question is, how does it work? Because getting back to this again, if this is marry-up technology, like what Amazon does with Amazon Prime watch parties on Twitch, these two video feeds are separate systemically. You could theoretically set something up. Let's get this. Stop looking at these pictures here. You theoretically could set something up to where you are on one side you are part of the stream or somewhere, and there's, you're basically a React format. You could actually do a watch party with a YouTube free with ads movie. So imagine if it worked through marry-up technology like that, and you could position your camera somewhere over the movie and basically do React content legitimately and watch TV shows on YouTube. The rights would matter, of course. TV shows on YouTube, and maybe people that haven't purchased, if it's purchased content, people that haven't purchased it yet can have some kind of thing that says you need to purchase this in order to see the rest of this stream because you don't have it in your collection yet. So there's some commercial opportunities there for selling movies on YouTube that YouTube could jump on for this kind of stuff. The big thing is marry-up technology. I need to know if this is marry-up technology, because if it is, then it opens the door to things like watch parties and formal copyright-friendly React content if the other content exists on YouTube. It's not, oh yeah, it's not just DMCA type. Well, it's not just commercial media that would be affected by this either. Imagine if you streamed like that. Imagine if I could do imagine if I could react to anime by marrying up my me-only vlog video on top of an anime trailer or something. One of those things gets people DMCA'd by Japanese anime companies because of stricter copyright laws in Japan. What if that was an official feature of YouTube and it worked when you watched the video? Of course, it'd be a big technical undertaking, but Amazon already did it with Twitch, and Amazon's not as big on tech as Google is. You know, they have like logistical stuff and AWS, but the nerd company is more like Google. Google's more of the nerd company here. So that's something big. If YouTube, if this works through marry-up technology, and these are two feeds side by side, and it gets upgraded to where you watch this video and you have the main stuff, and then you can put yourself over a corner of the screen, that is copyright-friendly React content waiting to happen. Better yet, bring back video responses. As long as they set it up so that when you start and stop the video, it also starts and stops the playback for the audience, and everything stays in sync, that would be copyright-friendly React content. Officially in the platform with no issues with DMCA. That's huge. And so collaborative live stream, I'm concerned about the policy side of it, but I'm also wondering, how does it work? Because if my part of a collab stream is just a video of me with just sound, I'm wearing headphones, there's no sound leakage, which, by the way, is a DMCA risk if you have a watch party on Twitch. You're not supposed to let any of the audio from your movie or any of the video make it into your part of the stream, or else you get DMCA'd for it, because then you're broadcasting copyrighted content in your stream as opposed to connected to your stream. But if YouTube can make something like this, with this collab live stream feature, that would be massive for YouTube as a streaming platform. I will dare to say that it will have more of an impact with that one feature than gifted memberships, or even a build spend currency system for chat to use to redeem, for stuff like that. The various ways streaming is gamified over on Twitch. I think I have 3 stuff from streams things to make now. One of the biggest questions live streaming creators have is, what do I talk about? The ability to go live together should hopefully open up streams to more casual conversation and interactions with other creators, making it easier and more fun to go live. Creators will also be able to grow their network and reach, and their communities will have a chance to interact and build connections. That's the thing. This is currently known as squad streaming to an extent over on Twitch, and it's partner only. So this being available baseline would be amazing. So it does sound like pretty. Oh, Logan, you're still here. Let's see, 12:51, 11, 10, 9. Well, happy middle of the evening to you out in that part of the world. So, have you been sneaking into my streams late at night when I thought nobody was watching? That YouTube number doesn't really. Yeah, I got to do that now. I got to make that into a stuff from streams and send it off to YouTube Liaison. Matt Koval's leaving YouTube Liaison, but I might just respond to Neil Mohan's post about this and put the video in there. This would be massive if that was ever a thing. I almost said Super Chad. But no, I mean, so the thing with this collab thing is if they can get these little details ironed out, this is basically one of the things that makes radio so amazing. On-air chemistry is huge in radio. That's why oftentimes you don't have radio shows that are just one person in the studio. I'm here for pretty much all the chat streams. I just don't say much most of the time. Yeah, to be fair, I mean, I'm often watching streams and I'm playing ESO, but I'll often get try to hype things up with some cute emotes and stuff because I want to kind of make the place that I'm watching better, because I often like the creators that I'm watching. I'm not one of those hate watcher types that waste my time watching stuff I don't like. Yeah, I almost said Super Chad, little internet lingo these days. A little after my time, too, so I probably shouldn't say that. Someone's going to call me a boomer. They'd only be half right, because my parents' generation is the boomers. Anyways, but this is the thing. I mean, you listen to, it's like Jimmy and Sherry in the morning or something. Radio show, morning radio, happy, funny, wake you up, da-da-da. Sometimes a little too much. I made fun of morning radio, good morning, here's your news. I made fun of that last go-round, or sometime recently. A little tired tonight. How am I doing that on vacation? I don't know. But you have this other stuff going on. Now, that's one of the things, too. It's just putting two people in the same room, as long as they don't, like, say something that gets them fined by the FCC or something like that. Just two people bouncing stuff off each other is great. You see this in collab streams on Twitch as well. Now, it's probably a thing with game streams, too. It's probably a thing with gaming streams as well. But at the same time, Twitch IRL collabs, like what's going on in the streamer houses and stuff like that, are always a blast, simply because of the two personalities interacting with each other. It just creates something that's bigger than what exists when one of those folks is on their own. Same thing on the radio, too. One person like me doing monologues might not be as interesting as two people talking to each other. Although, let's see here. That's part of the reason why chat is what it is. So it just kind of introduces that to some extent into a live streaming setup where you can talk back to the person doing the stream. But on-air talent, though, you'll see like pairs, duets, and stuff all over the place on radio, on television, and podcasting, because it works. It's one of those nice little things you can do to make things more entertaining when two people are bouncing stuff off each other instead of, oh, look, Professor Nerd over here is giving a lecture again. I'm not here to give TED Talks, though, but I'm here to have like a friendly hangout and stuff at night. Might deal with some edgy topics from time to time, but I gotta have some fun sometime here. But this sounds cool. This is the highlight as far as I'm concerned. This is the highlight of the announcement. I'm just wondering how it works. Features like Super Chat. Features like Super Chat. I almost said Super Chat again. Like a superhero reject. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Super Chad. Woo! Features like Super Chat and channel memberships have helped a new generation of live creators participate in the creator economy. And this year we plan to expand this even further. We just started testing gifted memberships. They've started testing. Good. What's the timetable? Things should, as I've seen things get tested for years. Susan Wojcicki said this year, so I'm holding them to it. Gifted memberships later this year. We started testing gifted memberships, the ability to purchase a channel membership for another viewer in the live stream to a small group of channels. We know this is a top request. We plan to roll out more widely in the coming months. Good. They're chasing after it. There's a ton of money in it, too. Though, if any of you folks or any of you YouTube folks don't go over to streamer world, don't know, a lot of streaming is gamified to make it more appealing, and one of that is the phenomenon known as the oiler. The person who has a lot of money, they just blow money on stuff, they do gifted subs, and suddenly the streamer's like, whoa, because they know how much it costs. And then all the people in the chat are like doing like celebration emotes or you know, those kinds of things. So it's kind of a hype moment, so to speak, even though it is just someone with money to burn strutting their stuff. People enjoy that kind of stuff. Not more of a thing outside of the Western markets, but it's just, I mean, you get over to Korea, you're looking at Toonation and roulettes and stuff, things like that. And actually, it's not uncommon for an oiler to make an entire stream stop, and then the girl who's streaming it just does like a dance, some K-pop or something along those lines. It's just one of those things where you have money, yay, spend it if you think it's worth it. So it's one of those things. But I imagine outside of the streaming world, it's like if someone gives a really big donation to a charity and stuff like that. But yeah, gifted memberships. This will be really cool. Of course, you have to be big in order to have a lot of that going on a regular basis. Let me see what Dan's talking about here and catch up on chat a little here. Chat. That's the meme of the night. Mixing up chat and Chad. I'll bet the auto-generated translations screw that up too. I get called Boomer and Barley 30. Chad means you're the buff guy from high school. Also a meme like Boomer is. Yeah. There was a guy in my school who was like that. He was ripped. No, middle school more so than high school. There were a couple of guys that were close, but in terms of the alpha male, like super macho, looks like Arnold, might be a dated reference nowadays, but looks like he belongs in an 80s action movie. We actually had one of those in my middle school, not so much my high school. There was somebody related to big macho dude in my high school who was a girl, and she was the class diva. So there's a lot of looks in that family. But now I saw in the wonderful world of social media, you find out what happens to these people when they get older. He's got gray hair and a beer gut now, so he was ripped when we were growing up. He was the guy you thought would beat you up if you made him mad because he was really, really ripped and in really good shape, and he got old like the rest of us. Still has his hair, though, but it's gray. And he probably drank too much, so he's really red-faced nowadays. So, my friend was making a skit out of the Oiler. It was funny. Yeah, Oiler. It depends on the group, too. There's some people that are offended by the term Oiler in certain corners of Twitch. But then again, there are some people that are offended by everything in certain corners of Twitch. It's one of the reasons why I'm a YouTube guy. Well, let's see. Not one of the bigger ones, though. For all video viewed on YouTube, we want to allow more thoughtful engagement. One area of focus has been improving comments. They feel more helpful for creators and viewers alike, as opposed to L ratio. We're testing out the ability for creators to set channel guidelines so they can better shape the tone of conversations. And here it is right here. Please read my guidelines before you join the conversation. This is like low res. My preferred pronoun is she, her. Stick to the topic. I don't think that's going to do anything. It doesn't. I mean, there's hate raids on Twitch. It's just a thing where you can be like, please read, you agreed, that kind of crap. People be jerk. Lists of rules don't stand to top. What am I doing? Lists of rules don't tend to stop people from being jerks on the internet. But at least it's there. Feature parity with Twitch, although I'd like to see a build spend currency system at some point for live on YouTube. Viewers will have what if YouTube found a way to make a build spend currency system like Twitch channel points work not just on live but also on videos and shorts as well. So if somebody redeems something on a video, you see a message and your next video kind of has that going on. So like, redeem this and my next video will be, weird colors or something. I don't know. I think it's more of a live stream thing. I mean, super thanks is kind of blah, but at least it's there. For those of you who are unfamiliar, the thanks button in super thanks is a dono button. If you use it on a video, it basically pops a message and then the creator can respond and say thanks the next time they make a video. A little more contrived than its live streaming counterpart because people like the instant reaction when they dono people on streams. So, or, cheer bits or something like that on the Twitch side of things. Viewers will have the option to sort comments timed to the exact moment they're watching. Why not make this like a default so that this is this is from Facebook. Facebook has comment timestamps on live events. Have you ever watched something on Facebook Live? Facebook has timestamps on comments. I want this to be a default. So if I ever get a bunch of people saying, you suck, dislike, at the beginning of a video again, we can see without watching a video, we can see all the haters at the very beginning and then they all fade out and you get to the positive stuff later and you know who actually watched the video. Why isn't that a thing yet, YouTube? But yeah, Facebook has something like this for anything for like videos, premieres. I think they have premieres nowadays. And the other stuff they're kind of copying YouTube on. But YouTube, about time we put this in. Giving valuable context to comments, they read them. Something creators have repeatedly told us they often struggle with generating new content ideas or have a tough time figuring out which ideas to be successful. Timed comments? Oh, there it is. No. There it is. I already love this, and I'm only at 150. Okay, they put that in there. I'm curious if they could put a timestamp on there so you can see all the bozos that are like, you suck, dislike, when, I know I can't see it anymore, but I'm hitting the button anyways. Dislike, you suck, get off YouTube. Yeah, and you see it all at the beginning of the video, and you're like, look, a bunch of bozos that didn't even watch the video. Woo! Tells me a lot about the ratio. That kind of thing. Yeah, so that looks cool. To address this need, we're introducing new insights in YouTube Studio that empower smarter creation. Our tool will harness YouTube and Google's data sets and allow creators to better understand viewer demand, helping generate concrete content ideas for upcoming videos. Web3 also opens up new opportunities for creators. We believe new technologies like blockchain and NFTs can allow creators to build deeper relationships with their fans. Well, if you're into blockchain and NFTs, then by all means, let live and let live. Different strokes for different folks. My concern, though, again, with NFTs related to YouTube or creative stuff like this in general, if you are really selling the ownership rights to some hot moment in your gaming stream and somebody officially owns that moment when you scored that point in Rocket League or whatever, how can they not DMCA you for it if they technically have the ownership rights? I still can't logically figure that out. Either they own the ownership rights or they don't. I mean, NFTs make all the sense in the world for like digital art that is never going to exist physically. So it's a playing field leveler, so to speak, where, you know, you have like official ownership of something that never existed physically, just like someone can own the original Picasso or something of a painting, or a Bob Ross for that matter. But I think NFTs are going all over the place because people are just trying to apply them to way too much. Together, they'll be able to collaborate on new projects and make money in ways not previously possible. For example, giving a verifiable way for fans to own unique videos, photos, art, and even experiences from their favorite creators could be a compelling prospect for creators and their audiences. Again, how does this not turn into a DMCA disaster? Because if you really own the rights to a key moment in a video, or in this case, it sounds like in entire YouTube videos, what's to stop somebody from trolling someone by buying the NFT and then DMCAing the creator? Well, I don't like this guy. I'm going to buy the NFT of their YouTube video and then strike them because I own the rights. Why is that not a thing? Why is that not a concern? Or maybe I don't follow NFTs, and maybe some other people are concerned about this too. But when NFTs arrive on YouTube videos, so video NFTs, I have to wonder about that. How is that not going to get trolled? Well, technically someone could DMCA an NFT as well, because if they own the rights, we could see it with photos and pictures and art. So, there's a lot to consider in making sure we approach these new technologies responsibly, but we think there's incredible potential as well. And across all these formats, you'll see even more ways to help creators make money and build a business. In 2021, we reached the incredible milestone of 2 million creators in the YouTube Partner Program, with 10 ways for them to make money. All this work takes into account the feedback from creators, so keep it coming. Oh, really? Feedback from creators is valuable, YouTube? Here's mine. Mr. YouTube Chev, tear down this wall. Tear down the big red wall that is YouTube partnership being gated over a 365-day period behind the numbers that we know were put in there to gate things back when ad revenue was more prominent in the revenue mix for YouTube partners. It is long past time. Twitch, you can get a Twitch affiliate in a month with 3 concurrents. Facebook, you can join the Level Up program by streaming consistently for a matter of weeks and hitting a follower goal. YouTube is the only, YouTube is the only 365-day evaluation period, and the numbers are as high as they are. The competition is clearly reacting to that as well. What is this here? Yeah, DMCA because it happened with artists. They would DMCA people on normal websites because they own it on blockchain. Very dirty. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing here. It's like, this is one of those Wild West things, which is the reason why regulations exist. Laws exist as a collective, as an action, or shall we say, a collective expression of the will of the people. And the best laws target the bad people, not everybody. So that's part of the reason why rule of law in democracy is so important. Let's see. Oh, we didn't go back to browser mode. We shall fix that. Oh yeah, that's because we were given the feedback too. Yeah. Mr. YouTube Chev, tear down this big red wall. Viewers. On average, viewers are watching over 700 million hours of YouTube content on TV daily. Just like we want to enable a range of formats and experiences for creators, we also focus on giving viewers the best possible experience across nearly every global device with an internet connection. Almost 2 hours on live time. This could be its own stream. That's why we're carving things up, ladies and gentlemen. TV was once again our fastest growing screen in 2021. Saying it the old way. As of January 2022, on average, viewers are watching over 700 million hours of YouTube content on TV daily. I'm guessing smart TVs. In a year ahead, we want to give these viewers easier navigation and even more interactivity. One of the ways we'll do this is through a device that you always have within reach, your phone. Soon we'll be unveiling a new way for viewers to use their phones while they watch YouTube on their TV, to read or leave comments, share videos with a friend, and much more. Stay tuned. Oh, a remote app. Nice. I think the screen link for Elgato does this too for streaming equipment. But yeah, isn't that how... Oh, wait a minute. This is Google we're talking about. That's how Chromecasts work. Your phone is the remote. How long has Chromecast been a thing? And only now is it being applied to YouTube? One thing I have loved to hear is how much people appreciate the YouTube TV experience, and we're going to keep pushing forward on even more innovative features for our members. Last year, we announced several new updates like the introduction of 4K Plus. The add-on package not only offers 4K quality on selected content, but also includes unlimited streams in a household and the option to watch shows offline without an internet connection. It was a huge boon to sports fans like me. I'm delighted to share that this year we'll launch a redesign that will further streamline the user interface, including updates to Library and Live, which will give our viewers more control over how they organize and watch their favorite content for an even smoother experience. Now, this may sound like it's lost in space somewhere, but this TV thing, it's true, you know. The biggest screens you're going to have are going to be TVs, especially get to 4K, 8K, like a 60-inch TV and stuff. YouTube goes up to 4K. YouTube has some of the highest quality in the online media world right now when it comes to video. So, yeah, getting YouTube to work across all kinds of screens is one heck of an accomplishment. And I just remember when we were complaining about Cosmic Panda or something. I don't like how my channel page looks. Let's see. We're not only concerned with smoother viewing experience, but most importantly, a safer one, especially for kids and families. We develop ways to let young people of all ages more safely explore the diverse and developing interests through YouTube Kids and supervised accounts. Last year, we enabled supervised accounts for parents who've decided their tweens and teens are ready to explore YouTube. Supervised accounts allow parents to choose from 3 different content settings that align with content ratings for preteens and older. And this year, we've just expanded supervised experiences to music, living room, and assistant. YouTube Music will continue giving listeners the most expansive experience, featuring a catalog of over 80 million official singles, albums, remixes, covers, and hard-to-find music. Last year, we began rolling out background listening in Canada, free of charge. Main app giving premium members even more seamless and smoother audio. We launched new listening controls. We'll introduce a feature to help improve the listening experience by reducing loud peaks and boosting softer sounds. So, yeah. Cool. Compression, then. The metaverse, making YouTube more immersive. Finally, we couldn't have a piece about innovation without touching on the metaverse. Oh boy. Have you been looking at Facebook again, YouTube? We're thinking big about how to make viewing more immersive. The first area in which you can expect to see an impact is gaming, where we'll work to bring more interactions to games and make them feel more alive. That's actually a catch-up to Twitch. You go to certain Twitch streams, there's little pop-ups on the screen that you can use as part of the UI when you're watching a gaming stream. And even a sports stream as well. So, it's still early days. We're still excited to see how we can turn these virtual worlds into a reality for viewers. Oh, what's the partner thing all about? The scale and breadth of YouTube gives our global partners from major brands and advertisers to... Oh, this is people that the company itself partners with, not YPP. Using gaming publishers a way to reach audiences they can't find anywhere else, and in turn, these partners fund YouTube's creator entrepreneurs. One of the most anticipated opportunities we'll bring to our brands this year is shopping. I guess that's what this is. Holiday stream and shop. Yeah, you got like Gordon Ramsay type stuff and whatnot. Interesting. With shoppable videos like this partnership for Black-owned Friday, users can shop tagged items in their favorite creators' videos. Yeah, the whole merch integration. Live shopping offers viewers an interactive setting where they can engage with creators while they drop new products, unveil exclusive deals, and discuss the latest shopping haul. Last November, we hosted the Holiday Stream and Shop, a week-long event with creators like Mr. Beast, the Merrill Twins, and Gordon Ramsay, alongside global brands Walmart, Samsung, and Verizon. It showed tremendous engagement, a total of over 2 million views and 1.4 million live chat messages. Manny Mua, who featured the Lunar Beauty line, added, "The experience exceeded my expectations in terms of sales. I figured because my products were already in the market for weeks, users wouldn't purchase as much because they had already launched, but it was really impressive." Interesting. Oh, what is this? Today, the world of video innovation at YouTube is moving so quickly that it feels like we're at the beginning. But in some ways, it feels like we've said that every year since YouTube first launched in 2005. It's perhaps thanks to the incredible age of change and innovation that we find ourselves in a series of new beginnings, not just for us, but also for our creators, viewers, and partners. I'm so grateful for our teams who work to make YouTube the leading platform for engagement, entertainment, and enrichment for billions around the globe. And with so much to come in 2022, here's to another exciting beginning. So I guess the big thing that I'm looking at with this is collab streaming. How does that work? And what other uses can YouTube find for the technology after they launch it? Because one of the things that YouTube does a lot of is take their existing technology and apply it to more things besides what it was made for. So YouTube streaming makes YouTube videos on the fly. YouTube Shorts is kind of a modified, way of making videos and cloud editing them. There's an app for that as well. So I'm very curious, when YouTube gets this technology, like I mentioned with the collab streaming, could they use it to make a watch party feature so you can do a watch party stream of a free with ads movie? Or even tell everybody to buy the movie and come watch it. Put it in a digital collection. There's a lot of directions YouTube can go in with all of this. It's kind of like the myriad of options you have in a smart TV. Speaking of smart TV, I should probably get to sleep early if I can, in case the Amazon folks pick an earlier delivery window. Get it? Or see if I can recycle stuff. Now we have 3 stuff from streams things to make now. So, in terms of the other stuff, well, Amazon's got to get me that darn TV. But I definitely have plans. And don't forget, when I head back to work next week, snow issues aside, it's the dull part of the year. And since I'm not going off to medical appointments towns and towns and towns away this go around, I should be able to do more with the winter dull period than I did last year. But one thing at a time here. For now, about 20 seconds left on the song, but why let it finish? These are repeating all over the place anyways, because I don't have enough jazz music to cover a 2-hour stream without something repeating. We'll figure that out sometime. This is not how it always goes, though. Plenty of stuff from tonight. That's why I add in all those things nowadays, like the clickable program guides. Remember when those were a thing with the old podcasts from 10 years ago? Sometimes the more things change, the more they stay the same. Till next time, this is Multimedia Jay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.